Fatal Frame 2 Remake ships with some seriously broken defaults, guys. We're talking 66% screen resolution, locked on FSR2 only for some reason, and a mess of graphical options out of the box. Today we're going to fix all of that and unlock FSR4 using the brand new OptiScaler pre-11 test build. Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials and gaming simpler and better. For this video, we are optimizing Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake to use FSR4 using the new OptiScaler version 0.9.0 pre-11 test build. I think that's the full name. Now, this is a pretty big OptiScaler update, so make sure you grab it from their Discord server. In the midst of the Discord controversy, it kind of sucks, but as of the filming of this video, this is the only place we can find the latest test builds, unfortunately. And I'm gonna have a link in the description below. So before we jump into the Fatal Frame, let me quickly run you through the most notable changes in pre-11 test build via this quick presentation. Obviously, take some time to create, so I would really appreciate it if you just leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So this is an Intel-powered RC build. It is signed, but as always, expect some issues and use the !log command in the Discord to report bugs as they mention. So let's go on ahead and start. So the biggest headline here is the XeSS SDK that has been updated to version 3. Multi-frame generation support is officially added, although still ARC only for now. You can also change your interpolation frame count on the fly, though expect a quick freeze when switching. Moving on. On the fixes side, Doom The Dark Ages works again because it was broken previously. We have crash fixes for No Man's Sky VR, Baldur's Gate 3 on Vulkan. While we were opening the menu, it was crashing. And we have Windhawk and MagType overlay fixes. And importantly for us today, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake is listed under Game Quirks as requiring no spoofing, so we shouldn't enable that. Under the hood, the downscaler selection has been completely reworked, DLL blocking was added, and there is a new preserve swap chain option for frame generation releases. And also we get fake NVAPI 1391 included in this build. And finally, missing Vulkan hooks are here. Vulkan with DX12 now gracefully falls back to native FSR 2.2 if needed. Broken FFX, VK, FrameGen and NG4 OptDFG issues are fixed, and there is a fallback FPS limit on Linux when Reflex is disabled. So yeah, as mentioned before, just grab the update, only available on their Discord. Even if you go on their GitHub, they have a link to their Discord, and the GitHub only has a pretty old version as of the filming of this video, which is 0.79 or something. So don't use that. So let me run the game. And let's see how Fatal Frame 2 looks in its vanilla state out of the box. And this is where things get a little rough. Let me do a restore default before we start this. Okay, so if we go into screen settings, as you can see, for some insane reason, we're locked on FSR2 only. And there is no other upscaler option like a newer FSR version like 3 or XeSS. There's nothing else, as you can see. Also kind of insane, the default settings are kind of crazy because they default to 66% screen resolution with a mix of other weird graphical options, and this is a 1080p selection right now, so why would we go with FSR2 and then 65%? That's kind of insane. Yeah, but we can manually fix these kind of easily, so let's go on ahead and do that. I'm gonna go with 100% resolution scale. I'm gonna go with 0 sharpness over here. I would never go with 30 FPS locked. I'm gonna go with 60. Unfortunately, this is gonna be even weirder because the game has a lock on the cutscenes to 30 FPS and we cannot really change that. And then we have the settings type, we have best quality, then standard, then best performance, and then custom. I'm gonna select best quality for now, and then we can just change the stuff, or basically turn off the stuff we don't like off. And let's just keep moving further down. As you can see over here, I'm gonna go with motion blur off again, film grain off, and I'm gonna keep depth of field and a lens flare on. So I'm gonna hit back, and as you can see now on the overlay, we have 60 FPS locked in game. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and start a new game. Difficulty settings can be changed, blah blah blah, you know. And obviously I'm gonna skip a lot of the cutscenes because I don't want to give you guys any spoilers. But the initial sequence is kind of graphically heavy because there's a lot of vegetations, as you're gonna be able to see really soon. And yeah, it looks fine. It's not too bad. We can walk. This is how our character looks. Yeah, there's a lot of vegetation, as you can see around here. We can look around, blah blah blah. It's like the initial sequence, so the game is going to give us a lot of, you know, kind of on-screen tutorials and stuff while we're looking for our friend. So yeah, as you can see, we're locked at 60 FPS. I don't know if we can do anything else with the frame generation. It's probably gonna be locked at 120, but as you can see, this is a cutscene and we are getting 30 FPS. I'm gonna skip ahead so I don't give you guys any spoilers if you've never played this game. And here we are in the open world, so to speak. The game is kind of linear, spoiler, but yeah. Let's go on ahead, and as you can see, we're kind of locked at 60 FPS. Probably with my hardware, this is going to be extremely easy. Run through this initial place, and at some point, maybe the game will allow us to go into the options menu again, because right now, even though I'm pressing start, nothing is happening. Or I can, okay. Let's see. Display settings is not what we're looking for. Okay, and while we are in the game, we're apparently unable to change any of these settings. Okay, that is very annoying. We could change some of these settings, but we cannot change the upscaler and all of the other settings. Not even the resolution scale. Okay. Annoying. So could go to return to title. Okay, I'm gonna go with options, and let's go with screen settings, and then let's go to 65, which was the default setting over here, and sharpness 1. Not gonna mess with any of the other options. I just want to see what the visual impact is gonna be just with those two options. So the characters look a bit weird. And when I move the camera, the pixelation is pretty visible. I don't see any ghosting and stuff because of the upscaler, but I do see some shimmering and some of the pixels are unstable. So let me run down this little pathway we just ran earlier. This is a very dark scene. It's a very dark game in general, so we cannot see a lot of the details right now. But once we get to the bottom of this, we're going to be able to see a few more things. So let me skip again. So for some reason, The game doesn't feel very smooth. I am just moving the camera around using the controller, and it doesn't feel smooth. It's kind of stuttery for some reason, even though we get a dead smooth line up there. If you see on the top left of my screen, you can see like the frame time, and it's dead smooth. There are no spikes unless we go into a cutscene, obviously, because it's gonna dip to the 30 FPS. It's very stuttery. I don't know if it translates into the video, but yeah. And on top of that, like, the characters look a lot more pixely, their shadows look a lot more pixely, and yeah, it's not the best of experiences. So let's do something more apparent. We're gonna go with the lowest possible setting, which is 25 over here, and we're gonna leave it at, let's say, sharpness 3, otherwise it's gonna get very, very weird. And we're gonna try it with the 25% of the resolution and see how the game looks. Okay, so as you can see, this is a smudge fest over here. 25%. This is looking very, very weird. So let's go down the little pathway over here. We are looking very, very smudgy, unfortunately. As you can see over here, we have a lot of ghosting, artifacting and stuff, which is kind of expected for a 25% upscale. It's like ultra performance territory over here. Yeah, I don't see a very big difference in the GPU utilization over here. But when we turn around this way, instead of the 70s, we kind of stay at the 65-66% utilization. So yeah, this is pretty much how we're looking. We're gonna go back. So we did customize our settings to something reasonable, and while we took a quick look around, the game looks and performs kind of, you know, weird. FPS, obviously we were stuck at 60 FPS, and everything else, if we left it at vanilla, it would be kind of weird, because 65% and adding some sharpness on top of that looked weird with the default and only option of FSR4. When we were at 100%, which is native resolution, and 0% sharpness, that was the best look we could have. And yeah, we're gonna check out what we can do to improve this situation. So yeah, it is a playable experience, but we can do better, and this is, you know, the bread and butter of GeekJ. So stick around, because the FSR4 results at the end are honestly kind of shocking on this one. So as we always do, let's first check if we can update our upscaler binaries using DLSS-Swapper, an all-time favorite of this channel. And if there are newer versions available, we will grab them before we do anything else. So let's first of all do that. And as you can see over here, we kind of have an outdated version of DLSS. We're going to go with the latest version. Just click on swap on whatever we find over here. And I'm gonna do the same for XeSS, even though I don't know if we're gonna be given the option to use that, but it does exist over here, so I am updating it. Now we can go on ahead and extract the OptiScaler files that we need into our game folder, where the actual exe lives as always. And for this game, it's kind of old school, so this is the actual exe. I'm gonna right click on this and then open it up with 7-zip. Then I'm going to deselect the things I do not want to copy over, basically, and then I'm just gonna drag and drop everything else in here. I'm gonna replace all. And the next step would be to just run the setup_windows.bat. And as always, we need to follow the on-screen instructions and make sure you follow whatever is compatible with your hardware. So I'm gonna go with DXGI, the first option over here, and then press enter on my keyboard. It's gonna ask us if we're using an NVIDIA or AMD Intel GPU. I'm on AMD, so I'm gonna go with option 1 and then press enter. And here we gotta be careful because it is asking us if we're gonna use DLSS inputs to replace the FSR XeSS. It enables NVIDIA spoofing and is required for DLSS-FG, reflex, and all that stuff. For this game, we're gonna have to say no, even though in most of our tutorials we say yes. As you remember from the changelog, which I provided you with a presentation, it says that this is a quirk, so we have to say no for this game. So I'm gonna say no and press enter. And then it says that the setup has completed successfully, and we can press any key to continue, and we're gonna do exactly that. Now the next step is, since we are on RDNA2, to copy over the int8 version of FSR4. So I'm gonna go to where I usually save these, and I'm gonna copy over the upscaler over here, and right click, copy. And go over here, right click and paste and replace. So not only we need the int8 version of FSR4 for RDNA2, we also need to have modded drivers, and I have a video with a complete guide on how to do this up here, I believe. Hello? So yeah, follow the steps on that guide, and my suggested driver to mod would be 25.12.1. Okay, after all that is done, we can now launch the game for the first time and see if this is actually working. We can see OptiScaler insert menu over here on the bottom left of the screen. That pop-up means it has installed correctly and is recognized. Okay, just to see how this looks in the default settings, I'm gonna go with a DLSS over here. I'm gonna select DLSS as the upscaler, and then I'm gonna set it to the defaults of the game when we first launched, especially for the resolution scale and sharpness. So 65 and then 1. I'm gonna click on the back button, and let's see what's happening over here. For some reason, the maximum FPS is not locking our FPS right now, so we're seeing numbers like 600 or something. I don't know what's up with that, but everything else seems to be working fine, and the rest of our settings has been saved. So anyway, let's click continue. Okay, this is already a big improvement. Let me go close to the fire over here. But the thing is, this is probably going to be XeSS. So let's press insert. And as you can see, we are on XeSS over here. Let me press insert again, and then I'm going to go into the menu over here just so we don't go crazy with the camera. And what we can do is select FSR3.x and then change upscaler and see what happens. And as you can see, it has defaulted to FSR4.0.2. So to start with, I'm going to uncheck the use FSR input values as well, and then save INI and close, and see how the game looks right now with FSR4. For some reason, we're getting 500 FPS. I don't know if that's actually correct or not. It says 60 over here, so I don't know what's up with the Steam overlay. Let's go ahead and enable the Steam overlay and put it on the bottom left of the screen. And I'm gonna save INI and close. And as you can see, we are running at 60 FPS because it does feel as a 60 FPS experience, if I'm being honest over here. But yeah, this is 65%, and it does look a lot better than before. I do not see the pixelation, especially on the strands of her hair and stuff. This looks much better. The shadows look much better. So yeah, let's go on ahead and walk down the path over here. and I want to see how things look at the shed over there, because we have a lot of new materials instead of, you know, this dark forest area. It does look very detailed, especially on my screen. I don't know how this is going to translate over the YouTube video, but yeah. Okay, I mean, it does say 60 FPS as you can see over there, but for some reason it does feel very starry again, so this isn't actually fixed. But I do feel like even though this is the 65% experience, it's a lot more detailed, and even though we're really close to the light, the strands on the hairs and the details on the clothes are a lot more preserved, and I can see high quality shadows as well without a lot of pixelation, and the stability is really good. Just try the 25% resolution, the extreme kind of option we selected earlier, and see how FSR4 performs and looks with that. So we had 25% and then sharpness at 3. And we can just go back and then continue and see how the game looks and performs. So anyway, this is FSR4, and it's upscaling from 360p as you can see on the screen right now. So that is pretty insane. I don't know if you remember how this looked just a few minutes earlier. Let's go back over here. The effects in the fire do not look as crisp, but this is looking amazing for upscaling from 360p. And we are getting the same kind of utilization as you can see over here. It's like 65% so far. Let's run down the hill while we're holding the hand of our friend over here. Alrighty. And this result for 25% is kind of insane. Let me make sure this is actually 25%. Screen settings. Oh my god. It's 25% and 3 sharpness. Okay. So as you can see, even OptiScaler is telling us it is upscaling from a 360p image to a 1080p image, and it looks this good. Unfortunately, the game feels exactly the same, so we are getting that starry feeling, and now we can see some weirdness around the character hair when it goes through, you know, some subsurface scattering because there's a light over there, and, you know, the upscaler kind of, you know, has a lot of trouble doing that from such a low resolution upscale to such a high resolution. But yeah, it does look a little bit blurrier, obviously, from the native resolution, but this is kind of insane. So yeah, this is how you can run Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake with FSR4. And here we go. The results speak for themselves, I guess. So we can look at the clarity. I'm gonna have like comparison shots over here, and the difference between the vanilla FSR2 and FSR4 is I don't even have words. It's not even night and day. It's on a different level. The ghosting is practically not there in FSR4. The image is sharper. You can see those fine details in the environment and on the characters, especially the shadow details, even the details on the clothes of the characters, and all the instability of the image, the shimmering and the pixelation. It's gone basically. Unfortunately, frame generation was not on the table for this game so far, because maybe the OptiScaler team will be able to do something and actually enable us to have spoofing on, and maybe that way we can use the DLSS streamline option and then, you know, inject some kind of frame generation on top. We just have to wait and see, because these guys are working their magic behind the scenes and they are fixing and doing everything AMD doesn't do. if this helped you get better performance and visuals on your Fatal Frame 2 remake playthrough, I guess. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a GeekJ video. If you want to take it further, consider joining the GeekJ squad for early access and exclusive perks, or drop a super thanks if you're feeling generous. Gotta give a massive shout out to my channel architects, Paris STR and Kostas Dari. You guys are legends, along with Tony, who made a pretty huge donation to the channel, and I am very, very thankful. Don't forget to drop your results in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.